Hello IP students. Today our topic is Python pandas, and in this lecture we are going to discuss about a very important function regarding to a Python pandas data frame, that is group by, and two important concept, quartile and percentile. So let us take them one by one. First of all, Python group by function. So what is the use of group by function? In Python pandas data frame, group by function is used to group rows that have the same values, and it is very much similar to group by statement used in SQL, MySQL. It is mostly used with aggregate functions, and aggregate functions are count, sum, min, max, mean. These are the aggregate functions to get the statics based on one or more columns values, and it is also called as split apply combine process. First of all, split the data, then after that it combined the data on basis of some group. So the group by function split the data based on some criteria first, and then the aggregate function is applied to each of the group, and third point, the groups are combined together to create the result of the data frame. That's why it is called the split, apply and combine. So first of all, split the data on the basis of some criteria, then aggregate function is applied to each of the group, and then the groups are combined together to create the result data frame. And always remember that it is very much similar to as that of the group by statement used in MySQL. And in MySQL we also know that different aggregate functions are used with the group by, and in case of Python pandas, group by statement are also used with different aggregate functions. Now there is a small example here in which we can see that there is a data frame creation. First of all, import pandas as PD, import numpys as NP, and there is a creation of a data frame. To create a data frame, first of all we have to import library pandas. So there is a there is a statement import pandas as PD. PD is the alternative name given to pandas library. Then numpy is another library which we required here because we want to calculate here some, mean, these types of functions. So these all functions are basically defined in NumPy library. So we have to use NumPy library, and NP is the alternative name given to NumPy library. So whenever we want to use NumPy method, then we just use np dot method name, and this is same for pandas also. If we want to use a method of a pandas library, then we just write pd dot method name. So first of all, there is a creation of a data frame, and name of the data frame is D here. This is a dictionary. So creation of a dictionary here first of all. Okay. So first of all, there is a creation of dictionary in which you can easily see that key value is name, and regarding to name there are different values, and the values are repeated. You can easily see Aman Puneet Vishal, Aman Puneet Vishal, Aman Puneet Vishal, Aman Puneet Vishal. So values are repeated 3 times. Then exam is another key value, and regarding to that there are different values. Semester 1, semester 1, semester 1, semester 1, semester 1, semester 2, semester 2, semester 2, semester 2, and semester 2. And third key is subject. Regarding to that, different values are mathematics, 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 science, science, science. So they are continuously repeating of different types of values. You can easily see here. And then score. Score is another key, and regarding to that, different scores are given here. Then this is a dictionary, only a dictionary here. To create this dictionary into a data frame, we just write df. Df is the name of data frame here. PD, PD is the name of library, it refers for pandas, and then dot data frame. Data frame is the name of method here. Then D, D is a dictionary. It means that dictionary is converted into a data frame. And then columns are given here. By default, it is, if it is not given, then keys are play as a role of column here, but their columns are especially or explicitly defined. You can easily see that name, exam, subject, score here. So after that, there is a print statement, data frame is, and then print df. Data frame will be printed after the statement data frame is. And when we execute this program, then this is our output. You can easily see that name, exam, subject, score, these are the name of different columns, and you can see that there are repetition of data here. Then regarding to exam, regarding to subject, and regarding to score, different values are given here. And these are the default index values, because we don't declare any index values for this data frame, so default index values are given here. Now let us talk about its second part. Then mean score of the student. If you want to find out the mean score of the student, so for this purpose we take a variable a1 and then just write df score. Score is the name of the column and it is mentioned within square bracket. Okay, because we have to take only one column name here. And after that, if you want to make a group on the basis of name, then dot group by and df name is here. So group is made on the basis of name column. And you want to calculate mean, because aggregate function should be used, so there is an aggregate function named mean. So mean of the score will be calculated, and after that there is a print statement. So if you print, then the output look like this. First of all, statement is printed mean score of the student, and there then here you make a group on the basis of name. So you can easily see that 3 names are there. Okay, and regarding to now, this is our original data. You can easily see that Aman 62, Aman 74, and Aman 85, and Aman 67. So group is formed on the basis of name. So Aman here, just write here only one time, because this is because it is a group. And here group is based on the name. So Aman, Puneet and Vishal are only written as a single time here. You can easily see that. And after that, these are the different scores regarding to Aman, Puneet and Vishal. So we here use the just mean function. Okay, so mean value will be calculated regarding to score. So this is our answer. Next, you can see here sum of score group by name and exam. Sum of score group by name and exam. So df score is there, that is the name of the column, and group by is group by on the basis of name and exam. So name and exam are there, 2 columns are there. And if we compare this statement to the previous one, then group is formed on the basis of name and exam, and aggregate function used in this case is sum. Okay, so you can easily see the output. Now this is the output, name and exam, because group is based on 2 columns, name and exam. So name and exam are there, and there is a sum of marks, because we use sum aggregate function here. Now let us talk about third condition, that is A3. Group the entire data frame by subject and exam. So here we just group the entire data frame by subject and exam here. So in this, if we compare this statement to previous statement, we just see here that name of the columns are just separated by a comma sign, and in the previous example, in case of A2, we just write df name and df exam. So what is the difference? Let us see it. When you just do like subject and exam, then the output look like this: subject and exam. Okay, subject and exam. Subject comes first and then after exam, and we use a function here, sum. So sum of marks are here. You can easily see that these are sum of marks, semester 1 and semester 2. This is sum of marks for semester 1 and semester 2. So that is the difference. In semester 1, you can easily see that these are the marks 62 of Aman. Aman get marks in semester 1 62, and then 74, and rest are in, you can see there, semester 2. These are 85 and 67. Okay, so this will be reflected here. But in this case, we just write subject and exam as a column name. So in semester 1, total marks in mathematics is found to be 164, and total marks in semester 2 is found to be 190. Same for science here. In science, total marks in semester 1 is 182 and semester 2 is 237. Now our fourth point, print A3 is here. Descriptive. Here there is a function describe. Okay, so there is a descriptive statistics by group subjects. So what is the use of describe here? Actually, it describe the whole data in terms of each and every aspects. Just you can easily see that mean is calculated here, standard deviation, min, max, percentiles, all different types of percentiles, quantiles. Quartile are also there, maximum value, not percentile, quartile. These are the quartile value we just discuss later on in this video. So different types of statistics regarding to science, regarding to mathematics are here. You can easily see that. And why it is so? Because we just give here descriptive statistics by group subject, and DF score group by subject. So group is formed on the basis of subject here, and then describe. So there is a description data in terms of, and when just use describe function, then it means minimum value, maximum value related to score, or standard deviation, different types of percentiles are also, or all are calculated here. You can easily see that. So that is the concept of group by function. So the most important thing regarding to group by function is that in group by function, basically there is a formation of a group on the basis of certain columns, and there is a use of aggregate functions always when we used group by function. and it is similar to as that of the MySQL group by function. Next is quartile. What is the quartile? Quartile are the values that breaks up the dataset into quarters. The first quarter is the point below which a quarter of the data lies. It is sometimes also called the lower quartile. And the second quartile is the point below which half of the data lies. We already know this point by the name of median. Okay, so it is also called the middle quartile. And the third quartile is the point below which 3/4 of the data lies. It is called the upper quartile. More generally, quartiles are cut points that divides the sample datasets into subgroups. For instance, if the 0.20 quartile, 0.20 quartiles equal to 5, it is very important. 0.2 quartiles equal to 5, that means 20% of all observation are less than or equal to 5. While the other, it means 80 minus, it means 100 minus 20, means 80%. 80% of the observation are greater than 5. Next is percentile. So this is a common term used nowadays, percentiles. It is different from percentage. And why it is used? Actually, a student attended an exam. There is an example here. Suppose a student attended an exam along with 1000 students. He got 68% marks. How good or bad he performed in the exam? What will be the rank overall, and what will be his rank if there were 100 students overall? Okay, for example, with 68 marks he stood at 90th position. There are 910 students who got less than 68% marks. Only 89 students got more than marks than him. He is standing at 91 percentile. So that is the role of percentile. Actually, when we talk about percentage, then it don't gives us a clear idea about the rank or how good or bad that score is. Okay, so percentiles basically used for that purpose. It gives us a clear cut idea about how good or bad a certain marks is, because this marks is compared to other student scores or marks in that case. So that is the use of percentile. So instead now instead of standing 68% marks, 91% gives a good idea on this performance. Okay, so percentile makes the data easy to read. Pth percentiles, p percent of the pth percentile means p percent of the observation below it, 100 minus p percent above it. So marks are 40 but percentile is 80%. What does this mean? Now there is a common statement that suppose 40% marks but percentile is 80%. This means 80% of CAT exam percentile means 20% are above and 80% are below. So 80% are below and 20% are above. Means 20% student get more than 40% marks and 80% student get more than below 40% marks. Now percentile helps us to getting an idea or on outliers. For example, the highest income value is 4 lakhs but 95th percentile is 20,000 only. That means 95% of the values are less than 20,000. So the values near 440,000, 4 lakhs are clearly outliers. Now the quartiles. Percentiles divide the whole population into 100 groups, while the quartiles divide the population into 4 groups. So there is a basic difference between quartile and percentiles. And 3 categories are here: 25, 50 and 75. So P25 means first quartiles or lower quartiles, P50 means second quartiles or median, or P75 means third quartiles or upper quartiles. Okay, So there are three quartiles here, Q1, Q2 and Q3, and we want to calculate Q1, Q2 and Q3. There is a formula for that. Lower quartile Q1 can be calculated as n plus 1. N is the total number of observation here. N plus 1 divided by fourth term. Q2 is equal to n plus 1 divided by 2th term, and Q3 is equal to 3n plus 1 divided by 4th term. So there is a simple example. First of all, let us start with a simple example. Find the quartiles of the following data: 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 23 and 34. Okay, so first of all, arrange the data in increasing order. It is already increasing order, so no need to change the data in increasing order. Then count the total number of observation. Here total number of observation are 7, and you have to calculate lower quartile first. So for the lower quartile, there is a formula: n plus 1 divided by 4. N is equal to 7 here, so 7 plus 1 divided by 4, it means 8 divided by 4, it means second term, and we can easily see that at second position there is a data 6, so Q1 is equal to 6 here. For Q2, you can easily see that n1 plus n plus 1 divided by 2th term, so total number of terms are 7 here, so 7 plus 1 is equal divided by 2 is equal to 8 divided by 2, so 8 divided by 2, it means 4th term, and at the position 4th you can easily see that the data 8 is there. Okay, and then upper quartile. For upper quartile, formula is little bit different. 3n plus 1 divided by 4th term. 3n plus 1 divided by 4th term, n is equal to 7, so 7 plus 1 is equal to 8, so 3 into 8 divided by 4, it means 6, 6th term, and you can easily see that the 6th term is 23, so upper quartile is 23. So in this way we can easily find out the different quartiles. And what happens when your answer is in fraction? So how quartile will be calculated? That is the example number 2. And what happens if data is not in increasing order or ascending order? So first of all, data is not in ascending order, then write the data in ascending order. You can see here, find the quartiles of the following ages: 23, 13, 37, 16, 26, 35, 26 and 35 here. So first of all, arrange the data in increasing order, then count total number of data items. Here total number of data items are 8. You can easily see that 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 data items are there. And first of all, just calculate lower quartiles, means Q1. So formula is n plus 1 divided by 4th item, so n is 8, so 8 plus 1 divided by 4, it means 9 divided by 4, and 9 divided by 4 is equal to 2.25. so we have to calculate 2.25th term. So second term is clear, second term is 16 here. Okay, and what about 0.25? So actually when 0.25 is there, then we just calculate the next data item. It means the data item at the third position minus data item at second position. So data item at third position is 23 here. So 23 minus 26 here, and 23 minus 26 is equal to minus 3. So 16 minus 3 is equal to, okay, 23 minus 26 into 0.25 also. So we multiplied the value by 25 also. So minus 3 into 0.25 is there, and the final answer is 15.25 here. So that is the calculation regarding to that. Always remember that. Here summarize this formula again. First of all, if your answer is in fraction, just in this case you can easily see that 2.25 here. So first of all, just write data item at value 2, then plus fraction part here, and then after next data items value. It means in this case it is third data items minus previous one, that is second data items. So that is the formula for calculating this, and in this manner you can find the quartile. In that case you can easily see that this is the quartile values. Now median is also calculated here. You can see that Q2 is 8 plus 1 divided by 2, 9 plus 2 is 4.5. So in this case, first of all, fourth item will be added, and in this point multiplication of 0.5,
into fifth term minus fourth term, that is 26 is here. Same in case of upper quartile, Q3 equal to 3n plus 1 divided by fourth item. So here the answer is 6.75. So sixth term plus seventh term minus sixth term into 0.75. Okay, so answer is 35. So in this manner you can calculate different quartiles when your answer is in, the value of quartile is in fraction. Now this is a small program here to calculate the quartile in data frame. First of all, you have to calculate a data frame first. Now data frame quartile can be calculated row wise and column wise. So along row wise, if you want to calculate, then define axis is equal to 0, and if you want to calculate along column, then just define x is equal to 1. So there is a small program here, you can easily see that. Declaration of a dictionary here, declaration of a data frame here using dictionary. Okay, A, B, C, D are the name of the columns here, and different values are given for that purpose. And there is a print statement for data frame. Now if you want to calculate a lower quartile or 0.25 quartile here, then just write df quantile, just write quantile keyword for that, and 0.25, and if you want to calculate it along axis 0, then define axis is equal to 0. And if you want to define 0.5 quantile, then just write b2 df point b2 is equal to df dot quantile 0.5 x is equal to 0. So 0.50 quantile will be calculated along axis 0 here, and then 0.7 quantile same manner. Okay, now if you want to define these quantiles values along axis 1, so just give only a single change here, just define x is equal to 1 and print this statement. So the different value will be printed, different quantile value will be printed. Now you can easily see that this is our data frame what we create here. Okay, A, B, C, D are the name of the columns here. 0.25 quantiles along axis 0. When we calculate along axis 0, it means we have to calculate the lower quantile among these values, among A, different values of A. Okay, then similar for quantile along axis 0, then B will be calculated and C will be calculated for 0.75 also. And when we talk about 0.25 quantile on axis 1, this means this will be calculated. Okay, and on axis 1, and then 0.5 quantile on axis 1, and then 0.75 quantile on axis 1. So these are the different values against these quartiles. So this is a concept of quartile and percentiles. And in exam, most of the questions are asked related to group by function. Group by is a very important function, always remember that, and it will definitely ask in your examination regarding to the group by functions. So just execute this program related to group by function. I hope now you are able to understand the concept of group by and quantile and percentiles. So just run the program related to quantile, percentile and group by functions, and you can make your group based on different condition yourself. It will give you a clear cut idea about how to form the group on the basis of certain conditions and different with different aggregate functions. I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching this video, and in our next video we will discuss question answer related to some data frames, because all the important topics related to data frames here are discussed here. And as you know, this is the revision part. So in our next lecture we will definitely discuss some question answer or some numericals based on the data frame. So prepare just prepare the topics group by, and then pivoting, and the other important topics related to that, just as rename, reindex like functions. So thanks for watching this video.